Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. I had to go turn the light on. We are now on Smallville Season 3, Episode 2, Phoenix. This one not as good, but it's not bad. So it basically continues right where the last one left off with the fight in Metropolis. Really weird. I just watched the whole episode and it feels like this happened episodes ago, but it really was. Whew. Stupid sneeze. Stupid snot. Nah. Anyway. So we pick up right where the last one left off, with Clark and Jonathan going out a window, but not into the front of the Corp Tower for some reason, but into another building where they fight. They had this whole thing. And, yeah, eventually, just as Clark's about to kill Jonathan, Jonathan says, I know I didn't raise a killer or whatever, and he smashes the kryptonite ring, which frees him from the red kryptonite. The red kryptonite ring, I should say. So that part is done. So now we're going to follow up on some of the stuff from the last episode. Like Lex coming back. He confronts Helen. And first of all, he confronts his father. And his father is the one who convinces him it was Helen. So he confronts Helen. I'm going to do this whole thing here. He confronts Helen. And ends up taking her back up on a plane. Because they're going to, quote unquote, redo their honeymoon. But he's come to the realization that it was her that's responsible. Because of the vial of blood. Which comes back in this episode too, because we find out that is what Morgan Edge wanted him to steal, was the blood, and I forgot that. So Jonathan smashes it right there in the barn, blood everywhere. At least in that corner of the barn, I should say. And then he's all beat up from this, but it kind of goes away. But it does connect to his heart problems he will have from this point on. But he don't really address it here. Oh, that mother's not happy that she went to Jor-El, but that he went to Jor-El, excuse me. Anyway, back with Lex. They go up in another plane, right? And, he pours the champagne, but he doesn't drink it, so she gets a little bit iffy. And, okay, I'll talk about this now because this is very confusing, okay? Very confusing. She pulls out a gun, the two have a scuffle, and end up shooting the pilot, right? Lex then runs to the front of the plane, and basically, he's the one who flies the plane back. So if he knew how to do that, this popped in my head. Wait, if he knew how to fly a plane, why the hell didn't he do that before? Well, because he was so close to crashing, there's nothing he could do. He could pull up, but it would just sort of, before it crashed. I don't know if you'll even be able to pull up that much. But during this, as he's trying to pull the plane back up, we hear the emergency door fly open, and when he looks back, Helen is gone. And the conversation between him and Lionel later, it's left ambiguous as if she survives. He's like, should we send out a search party for her? He goes, well, if Helen did survive, I highly doubt that she want to be found. We never see Helen again, so we're left to our imagination. Is she dead? Did she survive? I don't know. I remember going into this episode, I'm like, I don't remember if she dies or not. I don't remember what happens. Does they leave her up in the plane and it's left to our imaginations, but I don't know. Clark has returned, but he's not officially back yet. Pete's not in this episode, which is weird because he talks to Chloe. Maybe that's not to Chloe, but he talks to Lana. Morgan Edge comes back because Lionel knows that Morgan Edge was responsible for what happened. To get the vial of blood. Apparently he was going to steal the blood and then hold it for ransom, basically, wanting money for it. No, they do reference something here that, hey, I could have you thrown in jail. Goes, oh, well, you're not exactly clean. Ah, yes. And he even says the word murder. So there's something that they're leading into later in the season that does come back. Yeah. So he tells Morgan Edge he's got to get that back, no matter what. Or basically, he's gonna have him put in prison, and he can do it. He's rich. He has the power. Yeah. So he goes back to Clark and asks for the vial, and he says, "No, I don't have it anymore. You can't have it. No." And he basically he turns into Cal again just very quickly to tell him to leave. He's got to act intimidating. Tells him to leave. Takes off, but that's not all. He comes back later and threatens Jonathan and Martha. And he knows that kryptonite is somehow weakness. I don't remember an episode when it's established that he knows, but he does. And conveniently, as they're putting Clark into a truck, this big truck, Lana comes strolling up and asks where the cans are. She's thrown in. And keep in mind, Jonathan he smashed his chair up against the beam and tries to find him, gets knocked out immediately. Then you got Lana, who's probably 150, is able to kick this guy into a pitchfork, killing him. And this guy dies. He's acting. He's like, that's what he does. He's like, I'm like, that sucks. That sucks. That's just, what is that? Just what is that? Just what is world? What is that? But yeah. So he was able to get a new sample of the blood because the one was destroyed. He brings it, and it's in like a little travel container thing, and I'm using this for my mug, I think. He's like, here, it's not the packaging that matters. And then they test it with this scientist lady who is it Helen Choi? Is her name? I don't remember. She's be somewhat important later. And it is a genuine match for the blood they had before. Although they don't know whose blood it is, they just know it's a match. The chromosomes work, which I don't know. Then Morgan Edge says, that's not the sample I took from you. I have access to the genuine, to where it came from. The cow, which the book comes from. I said the name. So he has them bring Clark to them. But Clark, of course, is able to just rip the kryptonite off him and throw it in a corner. And then he uses this heat vision to blow up a propane tank that just happened to be in this truck. This wouldn't work. The kryptonite is still in the truck with him. He would still be feeling the effects. He would get hurt. But no. The truck blows up. Lionel thinks it was a trap. It was a setup. And so the shooting begins. And Morgan Edge gets shot and falls into the river. Although, spoiler alert, he's not dead. Rutger Hauer is gone, but he's not dead. They were bringing the character back later. And Lionel's worried about him. And we find out why. Because Morgan has knowledge of something he did in the past. And I think this is why he's worried about him. Not that he cares, but he's worried that if Morgan Edge is still alive, he can leak that information. Get it out there. Because he already threatened him with it. Find out what that information is later. But there's a weird edit, because he falls into the river, because of Lionel being freaked out, they drive off, and then a hand comes out of the river, and it's Clark. How the hell did he get in the river? Like Lionel said there was no one in the truck, but like No one saw Clark flying when it exploded into the river. Nobody saw that. Nobody saw a body fly out the river. Fly out into the river. No one. Nada. Buckus. No. Okay. Good. Grand. Well, that's all right then. So yeah. Need the wrap ups. Clark and Lana decide they're just going to be friends because Lana wants to start this going again. And Clark, like a total dumbass, says, I don't want to hurt you, kid. And, yeah. So they don't get together. And this is what I'm talking about with the will they won't they shit. Alright? Because this is playing into that. They got together in the end. And we're like, no. I accidentally killed the baby. Which, by the way, I have to point out something here, okay? In the last episode, Jonathan says to calm her nerves when they're worried about Clark and worried about losing their house. I'll talk about it in a minute. He goes, do you remember when the doctor told us that we couldn't have children? And I'm like, wow, this is 3 months after she lost the miracle baby that growed in her womb. You're going to bring this up. And here we get a bullshit moment. And Clark comes back in. When they first come back, he apologizes. And she says, well, we never blamed you. Bullshit! Bullshit! There was that speech that Jonathan gave. He goes, your actions have consequences. And now your mother... and now... No. Never blamed you, my ass. It's writing just so we can just move past the whole baby situation. By the way, they never tried to have a baby again. So we never know if it was a one-time deal that she could have this baby because you could try again. But we never know. We don't know. Anyway, like I said, I forgot. The farm. Lex shows up. And he basically has bought the farm, but the deed is in their names, so they still own it. But he paid the money for it, and he wishes to be a part of the family. I had to tear up a little bit here. I know it's Lex Luthor. He also has agreed to work with his father at Luthor Corp, which leads into other things this season, so we'll get that. Only Chloe was in this, and Pete, I said, wasn't in this, so let's leave it. But, yeah. And the last scene is that scene with Clark and Lana. Yeah. But this was a decent episode. I'm going to give it 3 Superman logos out of 5. I think it's decent. Not as good as the last one. The last one was really good. This one was the fallout from that, so it had to be a little less. There's still some stuff, like the Morgan Edge stuff. It kind of spilled over, but the last one was better, I think. So, what are your thoughts on this episode? Let me know. So, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one. Where's the thingy? Where's the thing? It's right here. All right, let's try this again now.